the OMTO.
It's time for some more couch co-op. We're back. How are you, everybody? I am here, and so is Tico, of course.
Yeah, we're always here.
We're always here.
This is where we are.
Of course, why would we...
I don't leave this chair. I do not leave this chair, just here.
This is just where we are. Yes, so we've got lots of fun stuff to talk about today, and as usual, as we've been doing, let's start with some television talk. There's some interesting, again, because, you know, really, this is like the beginning of the season. Everything's starting now.
All new shows.
Lots of new shows. My wife and I, Dorothy and I, are still working to get Stargate finished, so we're still trying to get through Stargate Atlantis, but all the new shows are starting now, so it's like,
Yeah. I'm in the same thing, because Shannon and I, there's a few shows that we watch together, but she's so slow, and there's days that we just can't watch stuff.
Right, exactly.
So, and I'm like, I want to watch, like, I'm home most of the day for work, so I'm sitting here, you know, typing away. I'm like, well, I want to watch something. Well, I'm like, well, she's not here. Maybe I'll watch it without her. And I've been pretty good so far with the new shows, but eventually I'm going to crack and just watch something, and then I'll have to pretend I never saw it when we watch it together later.
Yeah, well, I mean, last week you watched the new Lethal Weapon, and you talked about the Shawn Layden Scott. So my wife and I did go ahead and watch the premiere. And you know what I liked about it was a sort of kind of putting to rest the events of last year.
Right.
The whole episode really was about that. And I liked that. You're right, Shawn William Scott's new character isn't bad at all. But here's my problem. We just learned this week, and my wife and I were going to maybe consider watching it, but I'm going to be honest, I've decided we're not even going to continue with the show now.
No more? Nothing?
No. I mean, we just learned this week that Damon Wayans has announced that he is now leaving the show as well. He's going to finish the first 13 episodes. Okay?
Yeah,
and so in December, he's done. When they finish filming the first half of the season, he's gone. And now I'm like, remember last week I said, how do you tell a Lethal Weapon story without Riggs?
Yeah, now it's
Riggs and Murtaugh. What?
Now, when we discussed this the other day, I think that my idea would work perfectly. The Leo Getz.
Oh my gosh! Right? You do the spin-off show. You do the Leo
Getz. Just a whole spin-off.
Show.
It's just Leo Getz. You get Thomas Lennon in there, and just him taking legal cases, and you turn it into a law drama.
Comedy.
I think I would watch that.
It would be a comedy law drama.
I would watch that.
Absolutely. Leo Getz steals the show whenever he's on.
Yeah.
You know, and you could still get Murtaugh's wife, I think it's Trish, right? Trish into the show, because she essentially does work for him.
Yeah.
And I mean, seriously, you turn Lethal Weapon into a Leo Getz, because, you know, everybody loves, at least I do, I love his tagline, Leo gets you off.
Yes. It is I don't know, it is disappointing, and it is very weird to think that they are going to try to continue past the into the second half of the season without either of the two leads from the movie it's based on.
Absolutely. I don't even know how they can do it.
Yeah.
Like there's no point in that show continuing, honestly. You know, like write an ending or something, but
yeah, like end it. I would like plan for end this show after 13 episodes, because if the ratings are terrible, they're going to get canceled anyways by then. So may as well have some way of ending the whole thing. Write two endings if you have to. If you want to continue on, if for some reason people are still, you know, tuning in.
Exactly. Good evening, JJ. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, JJ.
I watched the premiere of The Good Place. It was a 2-hour premiere. I really love that show, although I am a little hesitant at where it's going this season.
It does feel a little weird, like we're sort of getting reintroduced to everything that's happening. I'm entertained by the show. It was very funny. There's some really good parts still.
Absolutely, there are. I mean, I love the characters. I love all the characters and all their quirks. Right, they have very distinct characters. That's what I love about it. Everybody is so distinct, and I'm curious to see where it's going, because I think the first season was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Second season was good, but not as good as the first.
Yeah.
And now I feel like maybe the third is getting to that point where maybe this should be the final chapters.
Well, we'll see we'll see where they bring it. I'm interested in it, and I think that maybe the sort of the setup, because they didn't do any setup going into this season from last season. It was really like sort of that hard cut, and then this season now they sort of had to steer us. Where are we going with this now? What's happening?
I know.
What's the story? So that pilot, or not pilot, the season premiere maybe took a little too much away from what they normally can do. So we'll see, because there's another episode that just aired last night.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have not caught up, because that's one of the ones that we watched together that I have not been allowed to watch yet.
What I do like about The Good Place is every season is different than the previous one.
Yeah, they're not just rehashing.
Yeah, they do kind of like a twist at the end that you didn't see coming in a good way. This is not a bad twist in any way. But they take the story and they flip it on its head and then run with it.
Yeah,
and they've done that now 2 seasons in a row.
Yeah,
right? This is now our third flip. So they do change it up, which is good, but it all fits the story they're trying to tell. I just don't know I don't want to give spoilers if no one's ever watched this show, because it's worth watching.
It is, and we're talking about the current season too. Yeah. So,
but I don't want to give, even when people watch the first season, I don't want to give away how this first season ends, because that's the joy of watching it.
Yes, yeah, like it's a great twist, and if you haven't watched the show yet, that is a fantastic, end/lead into the next season.
Exactly. So. Yeah. So, Goldbergs I watched last week. You mentioned you watched it, loved it. Dorothy and my daughter Aria and I watched that together. I don't think I've laughed so hard in quite some time at that first episode. It was. What I love about Goldbergs is it is so true. Like, Adam Goldberg is us.
Yeah.
Like, he is my age and my interests and everything. He's pretty much me back in the 80s when it takes place.
Well, and I can tell you, like, so many of the things that happen in that show, I relate to. Like,
oh my gosh, yes.
My father used to come home from work and sit on the couch in his underwear in the main part of the house, like that. Like, seriously? I'm like, that's my dad. Like,
he did the same. Really, he came in. Oh. Off goes the pants.
Like, not as dramatically as that, but he'd come in and he would just sit around in his underwear and watch television. That was his thing. And like, our television room was like, there's a front door. And then there's like a small little room that we had as the TV room, like, back when the TVs were tiny. But that's where he would plop down. So, like, if you walked in the front door, he'd be there in his underwear.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I love about it, because it's so true. And it is based on Adam Goldberg's life.
Yeah.
Like, there are many times when the show will end with actual video, like home movies that he filmed, where you're seeing a scene that they just put into the show itself.
Yeah.
Right? And it's I love it. It's so good because it's so real and it's funny. And I finished Maniac on Netflix, and I will say I am very happy with that miniseries. It is really, really good, and it has a great ending. Loved it. I highly recommend Maniac. It is fun, but it's a fantastic drama, and like I said last week, the both of them are fantastic actors. They're just powerful.
All right, I will check that one out. I did catch FBI. I watched the first couple of episodes of FBI.
I want to watch that because one of my daughter's favorite actresses is in it. I can't think of her name now. The lead,
Missy Peregrym.
Missy Peregrym. Sydney loves Missy Peregrym since she was on Rookie Blue.
Yes, so. She's a great actress. It's a really good show. I'm enjoying it. It is a crime procedural drama. There's not really, like, there's no weird twists or turns or anything like that so far. There's no, you're not really getting into the characters' backstories too much. It's really, hey, this crime has happened and we're going to solve this crime. Yeah. Back to that sort of thing. But
that's okay, because that's kind of like, well, that's what we loved about things like Rookie Blue.
And this is I really enjoy this, because I'm not feeling that I'm getting caught up in too many things where they feel they have to twist. It's like, oh, it turns out that this guy was a terrorist all along, or this cop is sleeping with the captain's wife, but something else is like, it's you don't feel the need for the extra drama. The story just tells itself, which I actually really enjoyed the first couple episodes. Yeah. I also did catch Superstore. The new season of Superstore started up.
That's another show I love, so I'm looking forward to getting back into that. That is a show. I wish it was more than just 13 episodes. I look forward to that show every week.
It is a fun show. It's very lighthearted. It's like the new season, starts up, a certain number of months after the last season ended. But it's entertaining. It is fun. I won't spoil it because I know you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, no, I think Superstore, the Goldbergs right now are like my top comedies that I look forward to watching every week.
Yeah.
Going back to, I mentioned I watched Maniac on Netflix, and there's some Netflix news this week.
Yes.
So in the States, DC, of course, is coming out with their streaming service.
Correct, yeah.
But it's only available in the U.S. It turns out that Netflix has the rights to all the new DC shows, basically for the rest of the world. I don't know, however, if that includes Canada, because in the case of CBS All Access, it does not include Canada for Netflix, but it includes the rest of the world. So in Canada, I believe our Space Channel in Toronto has access to the Star Trek Discovery.
Yes, Sci-Fi, I think they call that.
Do they call it Sci-Fi now? No,
I think it's there's the channel. I think it's been changed to called Sci-Fi.
But there is a Sci-Fi channel in the U.S.
Yeah, but this is a different one.
Okay,
I think it's with a Y. They're both with a Y. It's Sci with like two Ys.
Yeah, that's the. Oh, okay. I think maybe the Sci-Fi channel bought Space. I think that's what happened. Yeah,
that could be.
But I can't figure out if the Netflix deal for DC is actually going to be for Canada as well. I kind of hope it is,
because that's a much better deal for Canadian. You're gonna have Americans going to be trying to spoof their IP to get into Canada for once.
I was just going to say that kind of sucks for the Americans because they have to pay for a separate service that we're getting as something we're already paying for.
Yeah,
like it's cool for us, but it really sucks for their native country.
Well, this has turned into a big problem across the States and Canada, is the number of these streaming services that are popping up now.
Ridiculous.
It has gotten back to the point where people are like, it's too many. Like, I've got to pay for Disney, I got to pay for DC, I got to pay for Netflix, I got to pay for Hulu, Amazon Prime. Like, they've got like way too many of these things now. You have to pay a monthly fee for. You're just, people are going back to pirating stuff.
Yeah, and I saw that article this week as well. That it's getting to people are cutting. They cut the cables.
They cut the cord, and now they're cutting
years ago
another cord, or the antenna. Cutting the antenna now.
Yeah, because cable was way too much, and I can tell you, when I moved here, cable was going to cost me almost $100 a month. I'm like, no, there's no way. So we started streaming everything, but now you're talking about Netflix plus Disney plus CBS All Access plus DC, and now it's costing
plus your internet.
Now it's even more. So yeah, I can totally see how the industry is pushing people into pirating shows again.
Yeah, like they're cannibalizing themselves because there are too many.
There's too many services.
Like, nobody is going to sign up for all of those things. And again, they have some great stuff. Like the Star Trek show as a streaming. Yeah. So they have some great things. The Marvel stuff on Netflix, the DC stuff now going to be on there. There's going to be some good stuff out there. But for somebody to have access to all of that stuff legally is going to cost them, $100 a month.
I know, and I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
On top of their $100 for their internet.
Yeah. So something's got to give. Seriously, I don't understand why they can't just go to places like Netflix. On top of that, you also have Hulu.
Yeah,
right. Hulu's another big provider of television.
Yeah, Amazon Prime as well in the States is a big one.
Like
Crackle.
Netflix is such a giant in the industry that I don't understand why they can't just make a deal with Netflix where maybe it's a different deal, like Disney, for example. Maybe it's a different deal than anyone else gets, but it's still profitable for Disney to do so. I don't know the details behind the scenes, but from a user point of view, from fans' point of view, it's just a better way to go, to have one service with all the shows you want.
Yeah.
Even if you have to up the monthly fee by $1 or $2, whatever.
Yeah. People would rather pay $20 a month. It's like $7 or $8 right now. They'd rather pay $20 a month to get everything they want.
Yes.
Than to pay $7 here, $8 here, $9 there.
Yeah, exactly.
Give everybody everything, and you're going to get the people back.
Exactly. I agree. Do you want to move on to gaming?
Gaming? Who did gaming?
Big gaming week.
Yes. Yeah, we played some stuff, didn't we?
We did, and we were also at another party yesterday.
We did. I'm a little disappointed that they don't have anything launching next week because, man, that food was good.
Oh my gosh, the food. So last week, y'all know we went to the Starlink Battle for Atlas launch party. This week, we were invited back to Ubisoft Toronto for the Assassin's Creed launch party. So yeah, what's next week, Tigo?
Let's make some calls. Tell them that we don't really feel like grocery shopping, and they're going to need to put on another party just so we have a snack.
So, because Assassin's Creed Odyssey takes place in ancient Greece, of course, the food was all themed. It was all Greek food, and it was really good food.
There was some
just
good
like
stuff.
You're talking snack food, like it's finger food that just walks around, right? Well, the food didn't walk around. People were walking around with the food. Well,
they walked right to you at a certain point. They're like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna, Sean, here you go, take your pick." And then they'd move on to everybody else in the room. But they basically made a beeline to Sean and then gave him the food first.
I was hungry.
First name basis with everybody, every server there. This straight. Here you go. You want to try this? This is the first thing right out of the oven, straight to Sean.
I was hungry.
Yes, and the food was really good too. Like you don't get opportunities to eat like good food like that often, and it was delicious and. And that's all we have to say about the entire part. Oh, wait, no, we can talk about the actual gameplay and stuff, too?
So later in the show, we're going to review Assassin's Creed Odyssey here on YouTube. Tonight, we'll do a review as well. And for the podcast listeners, it'll be later in the show. Later in the show as well, and on YouTube, we're going to have an interview with the narrative director of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Melissa McCubre. So we were able to sit down with her for just a few minutes on... was it Tuesday, I guess? Was it Tuesday? No, Wednesday.
Wednesday. It was Wednesday.
This week is a blur to me, Tico.
I know. It's all of a sudden we're at the long weekend already, and it's just sort of flown by. Yeah,
so there was a panel there that we met the actor who plays Alexios in the game. He was there. The producer and the narrative director were there. It was a really good evening, and stay tuned later in the show. We will have an interview with Melissa McCubre, the narrative director. Do you want to talk briefly about Odyssey? Have you been playing through it?
I have been playing through it. A few of the things that I'm absolutely loving about it. We're both playing separately. We're both making some different choices to things. Those choices really do pull the narrative in a different direction. And because we were chatting on the way, we've been lucky enough to have the game a little bit early, so we've both been playing for a few hours beforehand. And we were speaking about one particular mission that was early on, where you get to make a choice. I don't think it's too much of spoilers because it's like one of the first missions in the game. I think we could probably...
It's like literally before the credits.
Yeah, so if you plug your ears if you don't want to hear about something 4 seconds into the game. Other than that, we're going to talk about it. So there is a mission early on where you're presented with a choice. You walk into a town and there's a priest and his henchmen burning down a village and killing a whole bunch of people.
Because the people are sick.
Because the people have the people are sick and they're trying to stop the plague.
That's right.
And so you're given the option during dialogue to say, go ahead and kill these guys. Or no, I'm not going to let you just randomly kill people. These people don't look that sick. And it's a family. It's a mother, father, and 2 kids.
Yes. So what did you do, Tico?
So I, said I'm trying to play this as the good guy, the hero. I'm not going to let this evil-looking priest guy, because he does look pretty evil. They
kill people. Mean. That's right.
I'm not going to let him just kill people. So I said, no, let these people go. And they said, well, no, we're going to attack you then. So I had to fight off the 2 henchmen and the priest, and I killed them, and the people were very happy, and they offered me some money for having saved them. I said, no, you go about your ways. I don't need your reward. And I felt all good about myself because I did a wonderful...
You saved Phoebe's friend.
Yes.
Yeah. So I also did that mission. Of course, it's a side mission it's literally, as Tico mentioned, very early on. It's in the first tutorial area, you call it.
Yeah.
Even though I must admit the tutorial area was like 3 hours long.
Like it's a big island.
It's big.
Too.
Like 3 hours into the game, I finally get the game title. Ubisoft Presents. It's like, oh, that was just literally the opening. But anyway, I decided, I want to be good, but they're doing this because there's a plague, and the way to stop the plague is to kill the people who are sick and burn the bodies so as not to infect the rest of the island.
You could have just given them the medicine, Sean.
Well,
which they haven't invented yet. But whatever.
So I decided, as hard as it was to do so, I said, I'm walking away. I basically said I have no right to tell you what to do, right? Because it's the city guards. So I walked away. You found out there was actually a consequence to these actions.
4 or 5 hours later into my game, I'm doing something, and one of my NPCs comes up to me. It's like, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear about the troubles on your native land." I can't remember what it's called. I can't pronounce it anyway. So,
yeah.
And he's like, I'm like, "Oh, what's happening?" He's like, "Well, the plague has run rampant on the island," and I'm like, "Crap, that was my fault."
And that's why exactly that is what I'm thinking. That's what's going to happen if I save them. Yeah, even though they say they're not sick, I'm thinking, I can't really be sure of that.
Yeah. So, and that was the first one of those sort of decisions. There's many of those decisions as I've played through the games where I've run into a thing like help these people or hurt these people, like, back and forth, like these moral decisions that seem like a quick, easy, whatever decision. It's a yes or a no, or do this or help them or don't help them.
Yeah. So we're actually going to talk a lot more about it later in the show when we do our review. So let's maybe cut that short there.
All right.
Now, there's this, like, you may have seen, those of you on YouTube, you saw a little quote at the beginning of the show. I put that quote in the show because this week, or last week, we talked about PlayStation had finally said, let's do cross platform. And they allowed it. But then there was a quote from Shawn Layden about this. And he actually says, I read this like a couple times, and when I read this, Tico, I shook my head.
Yeah.
He says, "It's taken us longer, certainly, than even I would have wanted it. But it took as long as it was going to take to get it ready and get it done. We're just delighted people are out there getting what they want and not tweeting me so much." First of all, it took as long as it was going to take?
Well, I mean, what
does that even mean?
Well, it means exactly that. It took as long as it was. It's basically
everything takes as long as it's going to take.
It's almost like he's gone to Trump for some speech writing advice.
Right?
He's like, "Hey, Trump, how do I tweet this out?" And it's like, that's basically what we've come up with. It's double speak. It's words for the sake of words being on the page.
That's exactly what it is. Because no matter what you do, it's going to take as long as it's going to take to be done. Secondly, I love his line. "I'm just delighted people are out there getting what they want and not tweeting me so much."
Yes. Way to tell your loyal customers and fans
to shut up.
Shut up and leave me alone.
Just shut up. We gave you what you wanted, okay?
So that should tell those people, like, hey, if you want something else done,
just tweet Shawn Layden all the time.
Just tweet him as much as you possibly can. Just
keep tweeting and tell him we sent you.
Yeah, it'll happen eventually if you tweet.
That's right.
Just tweet at him as much as you possibly can.
But just remember that it will take as long as it takes to get it done.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously. I mean, if it's done earlier, then it didn't take as long as it was going to take.
But it still did take as long as it was going to take.
What if it takes longer than that?
Well, then you got a problem.
Yeah.
Then you have a problem. And speaking of problems, did you see the news about Crackdown 3? Oh my gosh. So, is it Phil Spencer that said this?
Yeah, it's like...
Yeah, so... Oh my gosh. So, it was, I believe, Phil Spencer was playing a recent build of the game. And his comeback was basically, it's looking great. It's come a long way, but it still needs work.
I think the biggest work that it needs is to somebody write down the release date finally and publish that. Like, that's what they need.
It's been in development for what, 6 years now? What do you mean it still needs... How much work does a 6-year-old game still need?
Yeah, this is... I mean, at this point, they could release anything. I think what they're trying to do right now is they are waiting long enough that people forget what Crackdown 1 was like, and they're just going to release a remaster.
Right.
And tell us it's Crackdown 3, and we're like, oh, this looks fantastic. I've never seen this before.
Wow. Yeah. I seriously, it's like What is Is it vaporware by now? It's like, is this even coming?
But they have Terry Crews in it. How could it be vaporware? It's got to exist.
Well, Terry Crews is in the trailer. We don't know if he's in anything else. Maybe they just hired him for that trailer. Maybe that trailer is the game. They got the same
guys who did the moon landing to do Crackdown 3.
Oh, wow. You went there.
I went. No, I don't think that the moon landing was faked.
Well, that's an interesting conversation for another day, actually. I've seen some interesting
theories
on that.
I don't think it's fake. That's what I'm saying.
I know. I hear you. I'm
not saying I can't be convinced otherwise. I'm just saying right now I don't think it is. So.
Yeah. I hear you. And whether or not this game is real, I really hope it is, because there was a leaked footage from what we believe is Rocksteady.
I believe it's been debunked that it's Rocksteady now, but this is leaked footage from Warner Brothers.
Right.
And I believe they put a claim onto the leaked video that it is their property.
Okay, so this is leaked gameplay footage for Harry Potter full-on like RPG adventure.
Yeah, set in the Fantastic Beasts areas.
Much earlier. Fantastic Beasts is the 1920s. This is in the 1800s.
Okay, so like early.
Yeah, a lot. So this is like a Hogwarts that has like no characters in it that you even recognize, which is a little disappointing to me.
It is disappointing, but it's also, better for them because they don't have to pay voice actors for their likeness or any of that stuff too. Unless
Dumbledore is a student.
Yeah. Right? Hey, you can have like nearly headless Nick show up as before he became a ghost, stuff like that. You can have like those sort of like Easter eggs
true.
and stuff.
And Peeves. Yeah.
Yeah, we can have that sort of stuff, but it looks fantastic. It looks like, really I was a little disappointed when I heard it wasn't Rocksteady because they've done some great things.
It doesn't matter to me, honestly. It doesn't matter to me who it is.
It looks good.
But it looks fully fleshed out. Yeah. I don't know. We don't know anything about it. It's leaked footage of a Harry Potter, and it's very distinctly Harry Potter. Like, that's without a doubt. It's Harry Potter. It's the Harry Potter world. But yeah, I'm excited if this is real, because we've never seen a Harry Potter game like that. A full on 3D adventure. You're a wizard. You're learning spells. The theory is that the story is you're a 5th-year student who was accepted late. Because you have these innate abilities, and they've brought you in. So basically, you're like in 5th year, you'd be 16 years old.
Yeah,
I think 15 or 16. 15. Sorry, you'd be 15. So you coming in late, because usually you start Hogwarts when you're 11.
Yeah.
So that's where the story takes place, and I guess it's the idea there is we're not going to start you out as an 11-year-old. You're a full on teenager by the time you enter.
Yeah.
Right? So. But you have this innate magical ability, so you learn things super quick. So they bring you in, and I don't know the story beyond that, but it sounds great, and I really hope it's real.
Like, we have seen some things, like Lego Harry Potter obviously has been out.
Well, sure.
But there was a Kinect game as well.
Well, there was Harry Potter movie games.
Yeah.
Right, but never a story where you take on your own character of a wizard, or a wizard or a witch. And you play your character like an RPG in the Harry Potter world in Hogwarts. Yeah, and
I'm looking forward to seeing, and hopefully this is true. Hopefully we get some, now that it's been leaked, that we do get some more stuff out soon, because this looks great.
It really does. You're choosing your house. You can choose. You have the details are that you can choose your house. You can choose friends. Like not everybody will have the same friends. Even like it sounds really fleshed out, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And I think we have time for one more thing, Tico. Something you threw on that we both found quite interesting.
Yeah, so, the U.S., we still have it here in Canada, but Toys R Us in the U.S. recently, all went into bankruptcy. They had big sales on and everything like that. So there's news this week that somebody is looking at reviving the brand and bringing Toys R Us back to life in the U.S. A bankruptcy auction was actually
a new company. Then
I believe so. Yeah, because there was a bankruptcy auction that was slated that was canceled because of this. So somebody is looking to buy up all the assets and to possibly bring that back. I'm not sure if that'll happen.
Interesting.
But
it'll be interesting to see what happens there because the brand never disappeared here in Canada. We still have Toys R Us everywhere.
Everywhere. It didn't. In fact, we didn't even get any sales here. I mean, there was nothing.
Nothing. We got ripped off.
Nothing. So I'm very interested to see. Now that it's Halloween, risen from the grave, Jeffrey Giraffe.
Right, Zombie Jeffrey.
Zombie Jeffrey. I mean, somebody who can draw things should do that.
Hey, whatever happened to Zombie Fly on our show? He just kind of disappeared.
I don't know. He did. I mean, he hasn't even tweeted anything in a while.
No, he hasn't, Tico.
Yes.
So we need a Zombie Jeffrey. There's a Toys R Us in Kitchener, and it's right in the same plaza as the fish store that my daughter went to get fish for her tank. Yeah. And every time we went to get fish, I'm like, okay, let's put the fish in the car. Now we need to go into Toys R Us just to walk around.
Yeah. You want to see the toys.
Hey, I'm a big kid. Even when I go to Walmart and I'm waiting for either Aria or my wife to finish work, I walk through the electronics section and I walk through the toy section.
Yeah.
I specifically look for things. I just look to see what's in the Transformers, what's the Star Wars stuff, and what's the Lego stuff. That's essentially what I go to look at.
Yeah.
Lego, Star Wars, and Transformers.
Yeah, and it's fun. I mean, I take Leah there now, and she's right out the door. She's like I'm holding her hand, we going through there. She's like, "Can I let go of your hand?" And she's basically karate chopping my hand away. And I'm like, okay, and I sort of let her go, and it's like that, in the movies, whenever we have those guard dogs, they're like, go get them.
You're right.
They let go of the guard dogs, and they go. This is what Leah's like, just like a bolt down the aisle, and then I have to go.
Where does she go?
So she goes straight. She likes the Barbie and princess dolls, but also trucks. She goes straight to the truck sections. So she likes the fire trucks, police cars, and ambulances. So the emergency vehicles, she's a big fan of. She has 40 of them.
That sounds like my daughter Sydney. She was like that, where she would look at dolls, sure, but then she'd also want to look at trucks and guns and the cool stuff.
And then also straight to the back of the store to all of the
bikes,
the bikes and the battery powered vehicles.
Oh, nice.
So she'll hop into the Hummer thing back there. She's like, it's not going. I'm like, thank God they don't have the batteries plugged in.
Right.
But yeah, she goes straight to those things as well. Often it is pretty fun.
That's awesome. Well, that is pretty much it for Couch Co-op for this week. Don't forget to stay tuned, audio listeners. We're going to have an interview with Melissa McCubry. She's the narrative director for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Also check out the YouTube channel for our full review for Assassin's Creed Odyssey as well. And everybody, Extra Life is coming up. It's my 9th year doing Extra Life. So I'm asking you once again to go check out bit.ly/extrashawn, and you just check out my Twitter or my Facebook and you'll see the link there. But there's lots and lots of games to be given away. I've got a stack. You've got some really good stuff of PlayStation games to give away, like Horizon, The Last Guardian, Neo, a whole bunch of the PlayLink games. Lots of the PlayLink games where everybody can play with their phones hooked up to the PlayStation. Lots of PlayStation games. I'm going to have Tomb Raider, Assassin's Creed, Starlink. There's a whole list. Check out my campaign page.
It's a lot of AAA stuff, and you're being pretty good with, people get, a donation gets you a draw, right?
Every donation gets in a draw, and there is more games than there are donators, so you will, at this rate, everyone's going to get possibly even 2 games. And as I do every year, the person who donates the most during the course of the campaign, it doesn't have to be a single donation, the one person who donates the most in the course of the campaign, I will personally buy them any regular edition, in brackets, regular edition game that they want. Any game. It could be a future release. Something, even if it's not out till next year, if that's what they want, I'll pick it up for them. That is something I'm going to personally throw into the pot. So I'm trying to raise $2,500 this year. Last year I think I raised just over $2,300. So I've raised the bar a little bit to $25.
Just a touch. Well, that's okay. And I think you could do it with the pricing that you've got. Honestly, I don't see where this is going to be a problem for you. Cause
I hope so.
It is right now. I've seen the list. I've been on the Facebook page. I've seen the list of stuff. I'm glad I donated early. I think I was the first one to donate yet again.
I believe so.
I always aim to be the first.
You may not have been this year.
No, I was the first one to donate. That's what it's going down as I'm the first one to donate. Don't look it up.
You don't want me to look it up?
Well, let's just assume that I did, and we'll just go from there. But no, I'm looking forward to I think my name was drawn first last year too, with your random generator.
I think it might have been, actually. People thought it was rigged, but no, it really wasn't. He was drawn first.
And so it's going to get drawn first again, and I'm going to get my first pick of all those lovely things. But yeah, there's enough out there. I think you've got a ton of awesome stuff that it is worth the donation, and it's worth it for the kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Vagabond Dog has also donated many copies of Always Sometimes Monsters for PS4 and Steam, as well as Doggone Golfing, a smaller game of theirs as well for PS4 and Steam. So everybody who donates, there's more of those than anything. So everybody gets it. You get one, and you get one, and you get one. Look under your seats. Everybody gets one.
People are checking their seats now, Sean. Everybody's standing up.
Well, there's codes under it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really bad if they're listening to us in the car.
I hope they're not looking under the seats right now. Never mind. Anyway, thanks for watching this episode of Couch Co-op. Thanks for listening. We'll be back with Couch Co-op again next week.
Bye, guys.
This has been an OMGNexus.com production.